Some major leaks for the next Avatar series have just surfaced, and there is a lot of confusion going around in the community, and we're going to be clearing up all of that. I've actually seen the animatics here, and honestly guys, it is super mind-blowing. I'm personally really excited for it to come out. I've teased it a couple of times in the past, and I've been biting my tongue here for months, waiting for someone else to leak it so I could openly talk about it on this channel. Obviously, I'm not going to be showing the actual animatics for legal reasons. Those are copyrighted. I don't want my channel taken down. I mean, this is my career after all. I don't want to lose it. However, I can confirm that this article by Night Edge Media, from what I know, is mostly correct. We're also going to be expanding upon the information in this article with some exclusive information that I know. Everything that I'm going to be saying is double sourced. Unless it's speculation, then that's just me speculating, but I'll make that clear. So, as always, if you want to know everything, you better stay here until the end of the video. Following the events of The Legend of Korra, Korra literally blows up the world in an apocalyptic event for some unknown reasons. No, I'm not joking. As if people already didn't hate Korra enough, she literally ends the Four Nations as we know it, which might be the best feat out of any Avatar we've ever seen, so maybe I got this one wrong. Or did I? Which brings me to the working title of the series, which is Seven Havens. So what are the Seven Havens and what does that mean? The Seven Havens are 7 different cities that the remainder of the world's population live in. These are cities with post-apocalyptic wastelands outside of them. Now, this probably confuses a lot of you. As we all know, back in 2023, there was a rumor going around that this series would be a cyberpunk series, but from everything that I've seen, that just isn't the case. From what I've seen, it's mostly post-apocalyptic, but it's hard to judge without seeing the entire series in its entirety. The next Avatar will be a young earthbender girl that has a peg leg. Now, the article states that she's a paraplegic, but that's a little bit of a stretch. Typically, paraplegic refers to someone who is paralyzed. The Avatar just has an amputated foot and calf. She can move around perfectly fine. Her animal companion is a large, fluffy, cat-like creature that is predominantly featured in the opening episode and is extremely cute. If you've ever seen ReZero, I would describe it as being like the small version of Puck, but large. Now, that sounds really weird, but if you're a ReZero fan, you'll know what I mean. I'm sure everyone who is a fan of Appa will be more than glad to see an animal companion have actual relevance again, unlike in Korra, where I'm sure some people forgot she even had an animal companion. The Avatar's name is unknown, and even if we did know her name from the animatics, it really wouldn't matter as animatics typically just have placeholder names. But it appears that the Avatar is either homeless or in poverty. It's also clear that she's an outcast from society, looking over walls to see the other people. She's always seen to be alone. She looks very unhappy or even depressed. Since no one knows she's the Avatar, I'm not really sure how she ended up in this situation or what her exact circumstances even are. But here's the big twist everybody is waiting for. She's an identical twin, but the twins were separated at a young age. When the White Lotus searched for the next Avatar, they took in the wrong twin. So the real Avatar grew up in poverty while the twin grew up rich. Now, some people are reporting that they're both avatars or one's avatar. It's just a little clear what's actually going on here, like if she can bend all 4 elements or not. But from what I know, the poor twin is the avatar, like all the previous avatars. But the other twin that the White Lotus has could have Vatu in her or something like that. One of my sources told me that she had quote-unquote avatar-like powers. So I think the Vatu theory could very well be true. It's not known what exactly has happened to their parents, but based on what I've seen, I think it's safe to assume that they both were orphans. One of the consequences of Korra destroying the world is that now people are extremely afraid of the Avatar, and borderline view the Avatar as an evil entity. This was very likely one of the reasons why the White Lotus decided to hide the other twin. And while this next part is entirely speculation, I think it's possible that the White Lotus abandoned the protagonist because she's physically disabled and they didn't believe that she could be the Avatar. Perhaps this could mean that the White Lotus in this era is more brutal than the previous ones. As far as the Avatar's disability goes, she appears to be able to still decently move around, so I'm not really sure how much of a factor this is going to be, if at all. I think it'd be really cool if her walking around somehow becomes bending aided, something similar to Toph. This is actually very similar to what happened to Kyoshi during her novels, as she wasn't initially identified identified as the Avatar until later in life. At first, I was thinking, oh, this is actually really funny how the Earth Kingdom always messes up this sort of thing, but in this case, the Earth Kingdom kind of doesn't exist anymore, and it was the White Lotus's fault that this happened, so if we really want to blame anyone, I guess we could blame Aang. After all, Aang was the one who decided that the White Lotus was going to be taking over these responsibilities of finding the next Avatar. One of the coolest things from this whole ordeal is an airbender who has a hoverboard. Now, unfortunately, it's not one of those cool hoverboards like in Back to the Future. It's one of those one-wheel type hoverboards, but instead of a wheel, he uses airbending to make the wheel. Again, this isn't very cyberpunk-esque. It's more so just post-apocalyptic with remnants of Korra's technology. The young man who is riding this hoverboard appears to be a Sokka type character. Literally everyone that he comes in contact with in the Haven seems to love him. I think there's even a girl who's like, I love you, like under her breath or something after he walks away. I know a lot of people are going to be having complex feelings about the possibility of there being two avatars, as it would be a major departure from the established lore of the series. Roku literally had a twin in his latest novel and he wasn't the Avatar. However, hear me out. What if the second Avatar, the one that was raised by the White Lotus, actually has Vatu sealed inside of her, just like how the normal Avatar has Rava sealed inside of them? This could very well be the result of something Korra had to do during her time as the Avatar. It would also explain why she has quote-unquote Avatar-like abilities, but not necessarily the same as the traditional Avatar. Also, the White Lotus knows Korra lost a connection to her past lives. They could write off anything weird with the twin they have as a result of that. At the end of the first episode, a giant spirit described as a massive eyeball attacks the Haven that the Avatar lives in and kidnaps the mirror. The twins reunite to stop the evil spirit and go off on a training arc, presumably to go save the mirror of the Haven. Instantly, again, my brain is like, this spirit has to be Father Glowworm, but as I didn't see this part of the episode myself, I cannot confirm it's him. But as we all know, spirits never truly die, they're just reborn. I think it's likely, especially if they want to connect their mobile game to this somehow. It makes sense to me. Since the setting is post-apocalyptic, we have to wonder what is causing people to hide away in the Havens. I'm guessing Korra didn't just set off a bunch of nukes and cause a fallout, and there's radiation everywhere. What's the next closest thing to fallout and radiation sickness in the Avatar universe? Well, my personal theory that in this era, evil spirit attacks are extremely common. Perhaps maybe even the Avatar lost her leg in a spirit attack when she was very young. Maybe an unintended consequence of Korra opening up the spirit portals to the physical world was that powerful dark spirits are now able to invade. Maybe, just maybe, in what would be the most Korra move ever, she attempts to cleanse the world of all of the evil spirits by destroying it. Of course, spirits never truly die, like I said. This would only be a temporary fix at best. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but it sounds like Korra to me. So here's what I think is going to happen with the future of this franchise in the coming years. Firstly, the adult Aang movie is going to come out. We already know that. Then following that will be this series right here, the Earth Avatar series. And then following the Earth Avatar series is going to be that Korra movie that Avatar News leaked. And now, I think this would be really cool. The Korra movie will be a tie-in movie to the start of this series, explaining the events that led up to Korra destroying the Four Nations, showing her death and the birth of the new Avatar. Anyway, subscribe to stay up to date, and I'll see you guys Friday with another video.